Oh, hey, it's Markus, and we are down at Gluttony, where I'm speaking to Bj McNeill. Bj has his own show. It's called Flawed Like a Boy. We're going to find out all about it right now. Hey, Bj, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Markus?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to Adelaide.
Thank you.
Adelaide Fringe, Flawed Like a Boy, has been received so far. It's been playing for 3 days.
Yeah. We've done our first 3 shows. It's been received well so far. We got our first 5-star review for this run that came out last night, so quite pleased about that.
So how long did it take you to write?
I started writing it end of 2017, and I suppose I had my first proper edit of it done in maybe late August last year, so yeah.
And it's
8 months, 9 months.
It's come from London, obviously. It
Yeah.
Debuted in London, where you got some really good reviews, got 5 stars over there.
Yeah, it did.
And then you've brought it to Australia, obviously, now Adelaide, but you have run it at Melbourne. Hey, birds. You ran it in Melbourne. How did it go over there?
Yeah, Melbourne was a wonderful experience. We had a season at La Mama, which is a all-female run theatre, which is amazing. One of the best theatres that I've ever worked with before. And yeah, it went really well. It was received well, and we got some lovely reviews, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, no complaints.
There should be no complaints. Hey, so tell us about the point of the show. Tell us about the story, and what, when you were writing it, what you were hoping to get across.
I guess with all of this work that I make, it usually has a political edge to it. That's sort of, I try and use my work as activism, I suppose. So for this particular piece, it was tapping into sort of homophobia and overt or toxic masculinity, if you will, and gender identity, mostly within an Australian context, because, yeah, I grew up here and I used my personal experience to explore that.
So most of the story, or all of the story, is something that you've experienced during your life growing up?
Yeah, it's based on autobiographical text. So although I do take kind of artistic license, it's, yeah, stuff that I've kind of experienced in my life, yeah. Including
the silly string.
Shh! You know what? I've never used that before, except in shows.
I copped a little bit of it on my leg. I wasn't complaining. Really good show, and I mean, obviously you're supported in the show by another 2 amazing performers.
Yeah.
Have they been in the show since the beginning, since the conception?
No. I actually devised the work in London with a choreographer and 2 queer performers. Yep. And then when it came to Australia, I then got 2 new performers, Beck, who you saw in the show, she is one of them, and another queer artist, Lavrance, who's a good friend of mine, and we rehearsed it for Melbourne, and then Jai, who you saw in the show, came in for the Adelaide run. If
you had something that you really wanted the audience to walk away with, what would be the message that you would like people to walk out of the door with?
Think about broadening the blueprint, I suppose, that you transpose onto your kids or to other people or to young people. I think try and broaden the scope of what we're funneling into young people as right or wrong, as what is the correct way of life or whatnot, or what is socially or politically or personally acceptable. Yeah, mostly that.
Yeah, that's good. You definitely covered a lot of areas in the show.
Yeah.
Self-loathing, depression, self-harm, etc. So, as I said before, it's very confrontational and, very hard-hitting, but, for an absolute reason. And it's, about raising awareness, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
In a time where we need it.
Yeah, definitely. I think with, we're coming along leaps and bounds within the sort of LGBTQI movement that's happening at the moment. But I think the thing is that we're still, specifically pertaining to homophobia, it might not be overt homophobia that we're faced with as much now, but it's still there's covert homophobia, and there's a systematic kind of rhetoric that's in place in society where people don't even realise that they're being homophobic, and it goes beyond that. They don't realise they're being racist or misogynistic, sexist, whatnot. It's very ingrained, particularly in Australian culture. Yes, I'm trying to fight against that.
Good, and you're doing a great job.
Thank
Don't
you.
even stop. Hey, so once this show is finished, I know that you're going back to London and I'm going to give it another little run over there.
Hopefully, yes.
Due to the success. What happens after this? Have you started playing around with another story, another show?
Not at the moment, no. I constantly write. So yeah, I haven't started writing anything new yet, but I've got a couple of ideas for things that I'd like to do in the future. But I'm sort of just focusing on this at the moment.
Totally understand. Well, I think you should absolutely get another show together and come back over for Adelaide Fringe 2020. Let's not even talk about that yet. Let's keep on talking about 2019 at the moment, because this show is running until this Sunday night, correct?
Yep, correct.
And it is playing at Masonic Lodge on
Yes.
North Terrace, which is part of the Gluttony Hub.
Yeah.
And it is at 6
o'clock.
6 o'clock.
Yes.
6 o'clock, there we go. See, it's all coming back to me. I remember most things. Bj, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your story.
Thank you for having me.
You should totally get out and see this beautiful man's show. It's well written, it's well directed, and just super well produced. And it's got an incredible message. What more do you need? Go out and support all of our local Adelaide artists and our interstate artists and our overseas artists. Adelaide Fringe 2019.
Absolutely.
You've been with Bj and Markus, and we'll see you for more really soon.